Now we're joined by head coach Phil Neville.
Morning. We're obviously start of one of the biggest weeks that we've had at this football club, so we're massively excited. It was a great week last week for the whole of the football club, but I think what's really important now is that to stress that we've achieved nothing yet. We've not climbed any mountain yet. We've just probably got to stage one of climbing a mountain, and there's another 3, 4, 5 stages to go. So the feet are firmly on the ground. We've given the players 2 days off, which massively helped. They were absolutely mentally and emotionally exhausted after the game against Montreal. The extra day leading into the game against NYC gives us about 2 extra days. Probably gives Pozuelo and Campana a real chance. Pozuelo's ahead of Campana. He was with the team this morning. Pozuelo doing the warm-ups, and the slight technical still feels a large percentage of the injury. So we're going to have to take it really easy with him. And thing I'd say about Pozuelo and Campana, that they'll only play if they're 100% fit. I think we've got enough players in the squad that are in good form, that are 100% fit, that we will only play for players that are 100% fit. And so he's got a lot of boxes to tick this week. Both players will have. But we're looking forward to it. It's a playoff situation that we feel like we've been in for the last 6 or 7 weeks of must-win games, gigantic games, do-or-die games. And you go back to the US Open Cup games that we had. There was a different smell in the air. It's a cup competition now, and I think it's massively exciting. We're playing against a brilliant team, playing against a friend. So that has its challenges, and I think all we need to know now is where we're playing. I think that's the biggest thing, where we're playing, so we can book hotels, we can book flights, we can let our supporters know, and then we can go and play wherever we play. We're looking forward to it against a really top team. They're the massive favourites for the game. We're the massive underdogs, and I'm absolutely have no doubt that my players won't let me down.
We'll start with questions now. Michelle Kaufman.
Okay. You just alluded to it, but how does it affect preparation at all, not knowing the field, even as far as tactically, the width of the field you're going to be playing on, and then as far as all the logistics, where the team is going to stay, the transportation, with 5 days ahead, when do you expect to know? And maybe you could call your friend, the coach, and ask him.
Yeah, well, I got an email yesterday saying the game was at New York Red Bulls. That was from our official match email that we get every week, with the colours of the kit we're wearing, the referees, the fourth officials, the VAR assistants, the timings for the game. So I thought that decision had already been made. It obviously isn't. Where we're actually playing actually doesn't bother me. Playing the top of the Empire State Building in a playoff game, but I think what probably people don't understand is that we've got a probably travelling party of 55 people. To get hotel rooms in New York for 55 people with 3 days to go is near impossible. We've already lost one booking in a hotel that we really liked. We're now obviously waiting, because if we're at Citi Field, we stay in a certain hotel. If we're at New York Red Bulls, we're in a certain hotel, and there are obviously deadlines financially for that, and that's something that obviously the league will have to help us with, because it's nothing to do, no fault of our own. But I suppose it's just the logistics, the inconvenience for supporters and for families that have already bought tickets at the stadium. They've probably staying in hotels out in New Jersey, in Harrison, and I suppose that's the biggest gripe, is that we cannot book a hotel or our travel yet, and we cannot let, more importantly, our supporters know where the game is, because people like to organise. And it's not a pre-season scrimmage. This is a playoff game. In 4 years' time, we've got a World Cup coming to this great country, and I think things like this need to be looked at, because this is organisation. There's nothing to do with football. This is organisation, and my feeling is that I feel as if it's dead simple. If I was New York City, I'd want to go to the stadium that would suit the club and the supporters. So you make a call, you ask a question: can we play at Citi Field? And it's a yes or a no. And that's why I can't really comprehend the delay, the 72 hours, because we knew this on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and we're still getting emails saying that the game is at New York Red Bulls. We're still getting communication that the game is at New York Red Bulls, and New York City are sending out information that it's at Citi Field. So somewhere along the line, somebody in a leadership position in the league has to lead on this, and we're just waiting. And like I say, the venue does not bother us one bit, even though I don't think it's a great look for the league playing on a baseball venue. But it's a game of football, and we want to play the game of football against a really good team with good players. And I think, from my point of view, I'd like to go home tonight and tell my wife where to book our hotel to come and watch her son and husband playing a playoff game. That's basically it. That's my frustration.
Ian?
Thanks, Rafa. Phil, from a tactical standpoint, they've moved a lot more defensively since Tati left in summer. That was his last game was against you guys. What have you seen in terms of how much more comfortable they are really just sitting back, and how do you've wanted to put a lot of your attackers on and
Yeah.
using that formation, how do you keep the pressure up on them that way?
Well, I think obviously when we played them last, it was Castellanos' last game, and with him in the team, they were a massive threat going forward. They had players in the pockets, the 7s and 11s and the 10s, and Tati was obviously a fantastic striker in this league, and they could be really aggressive in the way that they attacked. I mean, I think what Nick did, he then probably tried to continue that, but realised without the main man up front, they were going to they were letting in goals. And I think what he did is he got his players back fit, because I really thought he was thrown in at the deep end with a team that had lost the centre forward and not replaced him. Then they had injuries, then they had suspensions, and he's found a formula to win the last 3 or 4 games. And I hope, and I think he deserves to be given that chance, that job on full-time basis, because he's an outstanding coach. But he's also changed a little bit how they play, and he's had to adapt, and that's what you have to do. Because of the loss of a centre forward, he's added probably another player in at the back. He's got his best players on the pitch. Callin, Chanot, Martins, the 2 fullbacks are all good players. So you think to yourself, put your best players on the pitch, and that's what we've done. We've got to a point in the season where we had to attack, we had to win games, and we put our most technical attacking players that were in the best form on the pitch. And I feel as if that's the way that we have to keep going forward. Our team has got momentum. Our team has got a belief, and that belief comes from that aggressive way that we've been playing. And we want to continue that on Monday night, because it's not a game where you can play for a draw. It's not a game where 100% we're not going to play for penalties. It's a game where we're going to come out like we've done the last 5 or 6 games and try and blitz the opposition. And there's my father used to always say to me when I had any fear going into a game or into a football or cricket game, he says, "Son, if you're going to die, please die trying." And that's what we're going to do. We're gonna put everything into it.
We'll go to Jose, then Steve, then Andrea.
Coach, in terms of the dimensions of the field, does it change a lot the way you train this week? I mean, it could be completely different from what you're used to, what you play at Red Bull Arena before. Now in Citi Field, it might be the first time Inter Miami is there. How does that change the approach tactically for you?
Well, I think until we know where the venue is, we're just gonna look after ourselves. I think when we played in the Yankee Stadium, probably the smallest pitch in the league width-wise, so we've got experience of that. We are going to go to New York at match day -2, which is something that we've done on the road quite a bit. I think every time we've done it, we've had successful results, so we feel as if the players like to get camped in early, and we'll probably have a bit of a team social 2 days before the game, and we make a little bit of a road trip out of it, and I think the players enjoy that. So we're going to get there early. We'll probably have a look at the venue ourselves, depending on where. I hope we'll know by Sunday, and we're just going to go there and have fun. That's the biggest thing that we've had over the last 6 weeks. We've had a lot of fun, and we've had to overcome a lot of obstacles. And the biggest obstacle on Monday won't be the pitch; it'll be the team that we're playing against, because they're a quality team.
In terms of going to the venue the day before, is that something that you request? Is that something?
The players don't
Yes.
like doing it. We try to do it in San Jose or in DC, and because I looked at our away form and thought, we've got a lot of new players in the MLS. They've not seen the stadiums before, so get all that newness out the day before, and they just went, boss, we just don't want to go. So, like I say, we'll probably have a team meal, match day -2, train somewhere on Sunday morning, and then just relax and just let them enjoy the build up to the game.
Steve, then Andrea.
Is Nick someone you know from way back from Manchester? And
Yeah, well, Nick Harvey was at Man City when he was 10, and Nick was his coach. Nick Cushing was his coach. He was his under 10s and under 11s coach. So I got to know him then. And then when I was England Lioness manager, he was the Man City women's manager, and I had 13 of his players. So really, I watched his teams every week. We're close. He's an outstanding coach, and we go a long way back.
yeah, and just in your experience with these big sort of games, these playoff games, finals, is there anything you could take from, I don't know, being with Fergie at the Champions League final or anything like that sort of sets you up to sort of prepare your team and get them ready? So you said there's like a difference in the sort of feeling in the air.
Yeah, well, there is always a difference, and I feel as if my experience tells me you just got to prepare like it's just another game, but it never is. It never is. So I think when we used to play in finals and semi-finals and knockout competitions in our careers, we never shied away from the fact that it's a big game. We never shied away from the fact that it was do or die, or the winner takes all. We actually tried to embrace it, and the one thing I learned from Sir Alex from the very early days is don't sit back and defend, just go for it. And I suppose that's the biggest lesson I've taken into management from him is the way that he had no fear going into these games. He never thought about losing. He attacked every situation. And more often than not, he won with that mentality. And I feel as if maybe about 2 months ago, we went into that kind of mentality at this football club. And it's worked so far, and hopefully on Monday it'll work again.
Andrea.
Talking about your coaching style and what you learned, I wanted to ask you, how are you with the players? Are you someone that is strict with them before games like this, that they have to eat at certain hours, they have to be in bed at certain hours? Do you take their phones? I know that's complicated in the age that we live now, but in your time,
I'd love
it
to
was
take the
not
phones
weird.
off them. Yeah.
And a quick one, how is Gonzalo's arm?
Gonzalo's arm's fine. Yeah, I think he had a bit of a strapping on it this morning, but like I think I said to you on Sunday, he's playing with, even if his arm's broken, he's playing. It's funny because, I do like, I'm the type of manager that likes to control what the players are doing, their nutrition, their sleeping habits, their rest time, their snack times. And we went to San Jose, and it was match day -2, and me, Jason, the technical staff, Chris and Nikki, we always go out to a coffee shop maybe at night, and Jason's got me into it's called an IPA. It's like a beer. I've never heard it before. I came to and I always have one the match day -2, and we were just sat. It was lovely, San Jose. It was really quiet, and we were just talking tactics and stuff. And then the next minute, there was about 6 of my players was in the street on them little scooters. The scooters that you pick up, and they all told me that they're in the bed having treatment and all that business. And then I think the first one was Victor Ulloa. Now Victor's the best professional you've ever had. Victor Ulloa, Leo Campana, all the best professionals of the team was zooming down the road on these little scooters at 50 miles an hour. And do you know what? I think I laughed. I was angry and I was laughing at the same time because, I think with young people nowadays, you can't suppress their characters, what they do. It's become part of sort of like the match day -2 ritual in a way that they try and sneak out and get on a scooter and go to see the White House in DC. And I think what's brilliant about our team is that they all do it together. And it's funny because I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock on match day -1, and I'll flick on Instagram and they're all at the White House, they're all in a park in Columbus, so they all go out together. And people say, oh, well, they're walking there. I say, yeah, but they're all together. They're all sharing memories together. They're creating memories. And that's something that I learned with the Lioness team, is that creating memories is part of a successful team. And I never, ever, ever want to stop them doing that. So I try not to suppress them, but I also want to influence them in preparing right for the right occasion.
So there's no curfew. there is no curfew in New York?
I'm a manager that never ever has made any rules, because I go off the rule of trust, and they know that I always think that's the best rule. To respect and trust is the best rule. So I never ever in my career, never in my career at Manchester United or Everton or with in my management career have I set a curfew. We've been to New York. My players know the magnitude of this game. They know what works for them. If some like to go out for a walk, that's fine. Some like to go out for a coffee. Some like to stay in and play PlayStation, watch Netflix. I trust them in everything that they do, and we have got a team of people that want to do the best things all the time. And I think most of the people in here have got children. I think trust and respect is the best thing. When you set a time for people to come in, it always gets broken. You probably know with your own children, and you know from yourself is that it's 10:01. So what are you going to do with them at 10:01? So I work.
Was it difficult to get to this point because you were a player, a professional player in an era that was different? Now you can check Ariel's Instagram, Emerson's Instagram.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I would not like to play in this era because you cannot get away with anything. I know everything that they do. That's part of what I enjoy being a manager for. Is I like to know every bit of their lives, their wives, their girlfriends, their cats, their dogs, where they live, their car they drive, the problems, the successes that they have. We had I met all the families on Sunday after the game, and it's important to know their backstory, because their backstory tells you a lot about what motivates them, and so we know every facet of their life. That's part of management nowadays, not just to see whether they can kick with their right foot or left foot. It's what they're doing in their lives, because what they're doing in their lives has an effect on what they do on a football field. So that's not going to change. But what I would say for a footballer nowadays, and for a high-profile player in the public eye, it is impossible to go out there and really do wrong. And if you go out there and do wrong, you're a very silly person.
It's cool that they saw you having a beer, though.
Yeah, well, the beer went under the table because they see me as a teetotal manager that prides himself on his fitness, because I go out running every day. So they caught me. They caught me rather than me catching them. So yeah, they'll never catch me on a scooter though.
Thank you, Coach.